Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to Masterclass Season 2. I'm John Tenaglia. Today, we have a fine soprano, Katherine Chacon. Her panelists are Maestra Jody Kidwell, Impresario Daniel Pantano, and Maestra Lisa Hara de Cabo. Please sit back and enjoy the live singing.
Ritorno
Okay, bravo, bravo. And congratulations. All right. Very nice. Let's start with Jody, please.
Is that my punishment for signing on last?
Got that right.
Well, first off, molto bravi.
Bravo.
Anyway, molti bravi for both of you, but brava diva. I mean, really, just singing that. and I was hearing pianissimos at times, and I was hearing variations, which was very nice. The very beginning, I think, I don't know. It was the first time you did it, and I'm glad we stopped, because when we went back, you took a slightly better tempo. It was a little, I don't know, too slow for me at the beginning. That, it was a little too, I think if that could move a little more, with a little more excitement in your body, or in your mind at least. But I mean, really, it was really very well handled. But I think, and maybe it was also because you were like a little nervous because we had stopped and we had gone back, because once you settled into the aria, it was like fabulous. But I think that beginning part, if you just take a little more time in terms of thinking about what you're saying. Sorry, my dog just barked. He always barks when I talk. That, I think you'll get more out of that recitative. And I'm sure Lisa will work with that because she's a coach. But in terms of your tone, I mean, my gosh, I was just, really happy with everything you did. Your Italian's rather good. I didn't hear anything that jumped out at me too much. This is not an aria that I've ever sung. The other two that you have, actually, there was a year where I was a soprano, and I know them very well. But I mean, I just thought, I'm just going to say I liked it very much. I mean, I don't really have anything to say. You were into it. You were interesting. You sang it very well. But since it's a piece I don't know a lot about vocally, I'm not going to say much about it other than I really enjoyed it and was very impressed. Sammy. And I'm going to mute.
Thank you, Jody. Okay. Can we go to Danny, please?
Sure. Very nice job, Katherine. I'm coming from a different angle than the two wonderful musicians and the guy with the headphones. I know the piece as an audience member, actually more than as a musician. I thought you carried it off very, very well. The voice sounds very good and even to me. It's a hard piece to begin with. So what I would say, if I was the board auditioner listening to you and you're the 17th person to come in, I want to see a little bit of action with the singing. I think it's great to stand there and sing, but I want to see a little bit more of the character. Are you upset? Are you not upset? Are you mad at someone? Are you in love? Being Italian, yes, you see my last name. I'd like to see a little bit more, I don't mean body movement, let's dance a little Verdi, but I think the bodiness helps with the sound. And when you're singing and you know that it's good, it's like, honey, I got this down and we're coming to my good part right now. It doesn't hurt to give a hand every so often. There's could be a little too much and become a puppet. But coming from someone who's a producer and a director, I want to know, okay, I'm auditioning for Ernani. Okay, she sounds really good, but does she understand the character? And is she giving me a little feeling of it? Okay, and I won't go into my history as to why I say that, but I think for me, not knowing the song, it was thoroughly enjoyable to hear you. I think it's a hard piece to start with, but Como Skoy is not much easier. But, I think that I would just want to relax a little bit more and give me a little bit more, I'll use the word attitude. That doesn't mean mean attitude, good attitude, but it's like the attitude of the character. The Italian, as Jody said, sounded very good to me. The legato for Verdi and for this piece was working. And I think as you sing it in the next years, you have a great base of it right now. And I see it adding, the whipped cream is getting added to it. So it's like, stick around, guys. This is happening. So that's it.
Great. Thanks so much, Danny. Okay. Can we go to Lisa, please?
That was beautiful. Really nice job. This is a bitch. And your pianist is excellent. That, especially that interlude in between. Oh my God, every time I have to play it, I have agita. All right. So Jody pointed out that I am actually a coach and not a voice teacher. So I always have kind of picky coachy things. But first, I'd like to say you had some really beautiful phrasing. And that crescendo on the long Aiden was incredible. Really, really nicely done. I was very impressed. So now there are the little picky coachy things that I always have. Actually, I agree with my colleagues that your Italian is pretty good. There's a couple little really tiny things that I heard, but I'm just going to tell you what they are. So if you weren't aware of that you were doing them. In the recitative, when you say the word favelar, first of all, thank you for doubling the L. A lot of people don't. Really well done. But that R at the end needs to be a little more present. Col favelar. Just give me a little more R there. Just a little more presence. And interestingly, the first time you say the name Ernani, più sempre Ernani, and you come down on that octave, you kind of doubled the N. It was on the second one, right? Ernani. It was a little weird. Just be careful that there's no double N there, because you all your other double consonants are really great. I mean, you have some really great, your Italian's good. And then there's a place where you say, where is it? Mi sia d'amor, sia d'amor. Just be careful, that's an ah. Otherwise, those are my picky diction things. Then I have a couple other little picky things that don't have to do with diction. You did a great job. And these people all know that I'm like the super picky pain in the ass coach during this. Sorry, John, you're just gonna have to edit me to death because I always say stuff.
No, I'm not editing anything.
When you have, I gotta find this. I wrote page 42. That can't be right. Oh, first cadenza, that's what it is. When you had that long cadenza, like the last third of that, when you're coming down at where it gets to the top of the staff and comes down to the B flat, it lost just a little bit of focus there. Just keep going. You're doing great at the beginning of the cadenza. Just sort of keep that your focus going down into the staff. That I heard that in that cadenza. Okay, let me just cross that out. Got that done. There's a place where you have, I actually kind of wish Stephen Lord was here because I would like to take on this. I have always thought that in Verdi, there's not a whole lot of short notes. Even when he wrote short notes, there's kind of no short notes. So there's also not too many staccati, even kind of when he wrote staccati. So I would be really careful about the way you approach the staccato, give them a little more cushion. There was one place, actually, they were really great staccato notes. I think it was on that, did you staccato those? Just be careful that they're not too staccato because it doesn't really fit with the rest of it. And they're actually, in my score anyway, which is, again, pain in the ass score, they're not even written staccato in my score, Anyway, just be careful that you don't, nothing too short. And then I'm very specific here, page 54. Let me see what I'm talking about here. Oh yeah, this is right at the end. When you go, da, 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 da. Now those triplets right there, be careful that they're a little more accurate coming down. This is, again, it kind of, when you get to the top of the staff and have to come down into the middle, sometimes you just lose a teeny bit of focus. But otherwise, I mean, it is really a hard piece to sing, and it's really hard to start with. And I just say brava. It was really, except for those few picky things, I really think you did an excellent job, and beautiful, beautiful playing, John.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Lisa. Okay, I have a small thing to add. One of the things that I found, because my career was basically Verdi and the Verismo things. First, for these arias are treacherous. They are difficult to sing. They're not, unless you're on a big stage, it's very difficult to make it come off in this setting. So my question to you is, when you sing in the beginning of the recitative, what are you saying?
Are you asking like a literal translation?
Yes, yeah, just the first sentence. What is the actual?
Night is already here, and Silva hasn't come yet.
Right. Okay. Now, so that's really a question and sort of like a ponderance, right? You're pondering, where is he? So what I need to see that, because you need to capture before you open your mouth. I need to see that. Okay. And secondly, I think you sang wonderfully. My only comment is that, why do you think Verdi wrote those cadenzas? What are you trying to say through the cadenza? That's one thing that you have to make up your mind and say, because all those running notes are just, listen, they're very impressive, don't get me wrong, but you have to have a reason why they go to the certain notes that they do. So they have to make sense. So is it that you're agitated? Is it that you're angry? Is it that you're in love? So these things you have to pick specific things, and especially when they're repeated. Because if not, everybody's going to, like Danny said, when you're after the 17th person, you're hitting your head on the microphone, but those things have to be addressed to get you to the next level. I think that you have a wonderful voice. One of the things that I do want to say, and I don't know your age, it's none of my business, couldn't care less. But as a young Verdi singer, okay, one of the things that I'd like everybody to know is that you're young. Don't think that you're my age, ancient. Okay, so think that you're a young Verdi singer. So don't think, listen, we all want to match. Listen, I want to hear Eleanor Stieber. I want to hear whoever. Okay, use your voice at your age, because not that it's. I think that's going to help you a little bit more in your runs too, so that you have a little bit more youthful fluidity to the sound. Don't think so much. I'm singing Verdi. This is what it's got to sound like. I'm going to do it this way. Use your. Listen, I heard it. Everybody's heard it thousands of times. I want to hear you. That's my, I want to hear your individuality and what you bring to the aria, which was great. I mean, really, just these subtle things. And listen, I don't know how you started with this. I mean, this is one of the things I'm just like, wow. And it would have taken me 3 days to warm up just to get to the first recitative. But anyway, what do you have next for us? What would you like to sing?
Yeah, I would like to sing Julie. Do you want me
Okay.
to do a separate announcement of that?
Hold on one second. Let me see. Okay,
Right.
what is it?
I want to address what you just said, John,
Sure.
about the end of the aria, where you do the runs up to the B flat. As he was saying, those are expressions, I think, of just expectant joy. I mean, you're going to meet your lover. You're hoping your lover comes before, the guy that you don't want to marry. So that, if you just let yourself, the expectation of lovemaking, of whatever's going to happen when you see him. So, and that can be lighter, da, 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 and that's your, da, 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 and work on it that way. I think you'll get what John was asking for. Sorry.
That's okay. Thank you, Jody. That's great.
You're welcome.
From Carmen by Bizet.
est ici, je le verrai. Il doit que ma puissance en est. Sans trembler, je l'accomplirai.
Again, bravo. Okay, very nice. Okay, we're going to go in reverse order. We're going to start with Lisa, please. Oh,
All right. Yeah, brava. Another hard piece, and also hard to play once again, John. Really nicely done. All that cello stuff is kind of difficult. Catherine, who else is in the room with you besides you and your pianist?
Nobody.
Good. That was a bit of a surprise last week. So really nice work. I have some things that I want to talk about overall, about the sound overall. But the first thing I want to talk about is in the recitative, when you say "Et le devoir que m'imposa sa mère." Let me just tell you a little thing about Latino men and their mothers. My last name is Calvo. ¿Habla usted español? Do you speak Spanish?
No.
Okay, well, I love my husband very, very dearly. But he's Calvo and he's Latino. And with Latino men and their mothers, there's a very special relationship always. So my point here is that Bizet gave you a whole note on the word mère. So I would suggest that you observe that a little bit more. And if you look through this and you look through the duet that she sings with Don Jose, every time the word mère comes up, it's hugely long. And I think that's why, because it's just a thing, okay? So just, and also some people might not like the portamento there. I didn't mind it too much. I would rather have just heard you sing the note longer. All right. So the other, that's a very small thing that you can fix very easily. The other thing, actually there's another French question. I noticed you're saying protégere. Am I wrong in thinking that it's protégere? Is there something about that word that's different that you know of? Because it looks like protégere and then protégez-moi, that's later. There's two different forms of the verb. And I'm actually admitting that I'm not sure. But I know it's, when you get into like the coda,
Yeah.
it's protégez-moi. That's clear to me. And then does John have an opinion on this? It's protégere. Okay, you need to fix that. That's what I thought. Thank you. And then, but you have it right later when it's a different form of the verb. Also, you have terrific phrasing in this. I really enjoyed your phrasing. So the thing that I wanted to talk about is I hear a little bit of a disconnect with you today on this piece. I didn't hear it really much at all in the Ernani, but a little bit of a disconnect between your registers in this piece. That I get a little bit of a different sound from you in your middle and then in your passaggio and then in your top. So I don't know if this is something anybody else has mentioned to you, but I feel like it could just be, I'm a coach. I don't know how to even address how to fix that kind of thing, but that's what I'm hearing as a coach, is that you have sort of a certain sound in your middle, and then your passaggio has a little bit of a different sound, and then your top has a little bit of a different sound. And it would be nice if they could all sort of come together and be a little bit more even or homogeneous. I don't know, is that even the right word? But that's really all I wanted to say. I don't know how to even address that. Just something I think that you should know that I heard. Otherwise, I thought it was terrific. It's a very hard piece. Good work.
thank you, Lisa. Okay, let's go to Daniel, please.
I enjoyed it very much. Getting to what I said about the Ernani, where you have to come out and show your emotions, I felt as Michaela, you were able to do that much more here. I also like looking the other way, that you were like, all right, she's Carmen and all, but I got the higher notes. Use the higher notes when I need to. And as a producer director, I want to know you can do that. And you did very, very well with that. I do agree with Lisa that I wanted to hear the registers a little bit more even at times. But I felt that I knew the compassion for you. I don't know the words, all of them in English at the moment, but I felt compassion for you as the character, as to something was going on that was making you emotional, and it brought me into you better than the Ernani. And Yeah, I'm sorry. If you got the high notes, use them. And I mean, to me, they felt right in the register. They were what Bizet wrote. It's not like, wait a minute, I got this note, well, I'm going to hold it for 14 measures or 14 beats. I mean, that might have been in the 50s. I thought the character was very well handled. The voice, I wanted to hear just a little bit more up and down at times, but I won't go into the French because I'll leave that for Lisa and Jody. It sounded good to me in the audience. Let me put it that way. So brava. I mean, I just felt for a lead character, but the second woman in the opera held your own. And, you know, she only gets to do it a few times. So yeah, I liked it very, very much.
Great. Thank you, Danny. Okay. Can we go to Jody, please?
Hello. Yeah, I'm going to say the same. I loved the way you sound in this. And again, the same with the voice being lined up, because your high notes have this color that's so, oh my God, you know, I love it. And so if you could bring that color down, and I think, were you ever a mezzo?
No, no, my
Okay.
voice wants to get maybe a little bogs down, so I'm trying to keep it, you know,
Okay.
Gabriella and youthful and
Yeah, well, and I think if you will realize, and I think a lot of singers, when they're in their lower voice, it feels easier. So we kind of under support maybe and under make the space that we need. So I think that could probably be fixed easily with you just, you know, making more space. Or here's a new word. I picked this up from a book I was reading, spacement instead of placement. And haven't, yeah, I loved that, you know, thinking of keeping that space and that it's voluptuous space, not steel space, or, you know, it's got a pliability to it. And if you set that before you sing the lower part and have that intact and then never top off the breath. That's the thing I've been catching people on like crazy. They top off their breath and then get tight right before they sing, you know, long phrase. But your phrasing was great. Your French was really good. I love your high notes. I mean, they're so open and clear. And I think you can get that openness in your lower voice. I don't know who you study with, but I'm sure it'll be pretty, or maybe just sing the beginning with just vowels and sing it, you know, sing the aria like it's just vowels in the low part and then go back and put the consonants with it. But, and I agree with Danny about how, you know, your character was coming through and I felt empathy for you. And I don't know if you know this, you can steal the show with this aria. You can literally, you know, because it's so romantic and different and, you know, and she's so, oh, I like that nice girl. So really you can just steal the whole show with that. As a person who's been Carmen, I've stood backstage going, oh, there they go, taking the show from me. So anyway, beautiful job.
Thank you, Jody. Thank you. Okay. Now, one thing that this aria motivates is passion, of course. I need you, and again, John was leading you a bit in the second part. I think that you should be ahead of him and pull John. It's a sort of a reverse, because the passion itself just, it's like, and just, and it's more of a release and how do I explain it, that an anticipation. So especially when the aria starts on the second part, just be a millisecond ahead of the accompaniment, just a millisecond, because it's going to give you that feeling of anxiousness and voluptuousness. There's so many things that do that. Just when you're just ahead a hair, it makes it even more sexy, I think, because it's just a feeling, because you want it to happen and you want it to happen now. So I think that if you take that into consideration, especially for the second part of the aria, that it brings us along a little bit more. I think You have a wonderful voice. Um, I can't comment on French because believe me when I tell you, my French is lousy. That was not my specialty. I very seldom even looked at French, let alone sung in it. So, but that's besides the point. I want to ask you a couple of personal questions. I know COVID's going on still. What do you have going on? What's going on in your life? What are you doing?
At the moment, I'm starting to apply for things again, and
Good.
knock
You
on
should be
wood
up.
that
Mhm.
that will actually
Come
that
into
COVID
fruition.
won't,
Yeah.
prevent
Mm.
future things. So
We can all unmute now. Sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, no. At the moment, just local stuff, my church gig, and just stuff that I can still do that is either recorded or in
Mhm.
small settings.
Great. Okay.
Yeah.
What roles have you done? Let me.
I have done a lot of Mozart. So
Good.
Good.
Fiordiligi,
Mhm.
Vitellia in Clemenza di Tito,
Mhm.
Donna Anna,
Mm.
some stuff that's a little more off the beaten path.
Mhm.
Mrs. Coyle in Owen Wingrave, Benjamin Britten.
Mhm. Great. Well, you have the comfort. It's I could tell by the audition that you've been on stage, which is great.
Mhm.
And again, the whole purpose of doing all the study is that you should be on stage, and you should be honing your craft. Now, so that being said, does anybody have any questions for?
I have another comment if it's
Go ahead,
okay.
please.
This, I don't know what happened to my view. You screwed it all up, John, but I can still
Hold on.
see everybody. All I can see is you.
Oh,
And
aren't
you're
you lovely?
lovely.
Yeah, tell the truth now. Come on. How's that?
That's fine.
Okay.
Oh, now I see me. Okay, well, whatever. So the comment is in the jeudi.
Mhm.
I'm sure, Catherine, that you are aware that it's there are horns blasting away almost pretty much the entire time you sing from the aria proper to the end. So the comment is, I think just be cautious. And I'm not saying that you're doing this. I'm just telling you to think about this. It is very tempting, I think, to try to over sing or over darken the middle because of all the horns blast. Literally, they're playing the whole time. I've looked it up to make sure. So I don't think that you're necessarily doing this. I just want you to be sure that you're not, and check in and make sure that you're not trying to make your voice something that it isn't, because Jody is absolutely spot on. Your top is fabulous, really fabulous. And I feel like that is truly your sound up there.
Agreed.
Okay, so I don't know if that is helpful or not, but those are my thoughts.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you have anything else that you would like to sing for us, or are you okay to sing something else, or because we have time? You tell me.
I would love to at least hear the recitative of the Come Scoglio.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
Great.
If that's okay. I mean, or as much of it as you want to sing.
Yeah,
Catherine.
I'm good with that too. Yeah, absolutely.
We'll be singing Come Scoglio from Così fan tutte by Mozart.
Temerari, sortite fuori di questo loco, in non profonde, l'ollito infasto di infami nostro cor, nostro orecchio, i nostri affetti. E non per voi, per gli altri invan si cerca le nostre alme sedur. io una barbara speranza, ma mi rinnoda Chacon, io una barbara speranza.
Wow. Brava. Woo. Okay, that was hot. Okay, can we start with Danny, please?
Well, first of all, I'd say great job, really good. Now that I know you for the last 42 minutes, I can tell that you've done this role because you just grabbed the character. You're like, I got it, I can sing it, I'm going to act it. And I'm going to say, throw that now onto Ernani. I thought it was great. You know, a full voiced soprano, you know, because I hate to say it, you know, this role can be done by how many different Fach. And I think that you carried it through perfectly. I understood your emotions in it, your emotional changes. I will leave the detailed musical work to the brilliant other people that will be talking after me. Don't you laugh, Jody. But no, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought that you had it down pat. Vocally, I mean, you were getting into John and my range when you were down there in the lower stuff, and it was good. I mean, I'm just like, wow. I saw a couple faces on the top, and we were like, So brava. I'm really glad you did it, and I guess we warmed you up so you were ready for it. Excellent job.
Thank you, Danny. Okay, can we go to Jody, please?
I'm going to say great job. One thing that you did that when you, first off, I love this aria too, I have to say. And I'm going to tell you a really quick story. I actually did this role when I was 26 in at a summer thing in Rome. And at the rehearsal for the performance, the conductor wouldn't let me sing the Temerari with the orchestra playing underneath. He's like, no. And then when I said, well, can we do that? Can we rehearse that section? He says, no, she doesn't want to sing either. Next piece. So I ended up walking off the production. But anyway, it was fun to do. But, well, you know, they deserved it because he was treating us all terribly. But when you do that part, you know, right before it gets the cozy on your, okay, that was the best of the going down to the low notes. It was so connected to your top. It didn't get, I'm going to steal a phrase from a teacher. She would say, it didn't get butt heavy on the vowels as you came down. La tempesta. You had it up on the shelf instead of pesta. And earlier, it got I mean, they're great notes. I mean, it's fun to sing like that. But when you did the octave jump or the octave and, you know, that one, if you can go up as you go down, that's going to keep that note lined up to your high note, and it'll still be rich and full, but it's going to help you further on. Just take it from a mezzo who, because a lot of us, we sing those low notes too heavy. You know, we kind of go into our body. So da, da, if you go up as you go down, you're going to have more control of that. And definitely, I'm going to agree with Danny too. I could tell immediately that you had done this role by the way you did the rest of it, by the way you did everything, like you just owned it in a way. So I don't know, you might want to start with this aria. I think this aria gives
Agreed.
you rests.
Yes.
You know, gives you moments that you can pull yourself together and give you a moment to like catch, you know, whereas the Hernani, maybe not so much. Have that on your list because it's great. But but you just do this so well, and it's obviously comfortable for you. So I would think about offering this one. And nobody's ever going to go, oh no, I have to listen to Conestoglio. So where there are some pieces we think that. So I'm just going to say, and the Italian was good too. Again, all those double consonants. Your phrasing was excellent. Yeah. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Jody. Okay, can we go to Maestra Lisa, please?
Okay, once again, brava. 3 really hard pieces all in a row. Excellent work. There was a reason why I asked to hear the rest of it. I love that you sang the whole thing, but the rest of it is particularly tricky because, well, you know, Mozart is great, right? There's always something new to learn, right? I wanted to make sure that you were pronouncing everything correctly because it's not set very well. Sorry, Mozart, but some of it is not set very well. So you really nailed it on sortite. So many people say sortite and it drives me bananas. So good for you. But then you screwed up on lalito. So make sure that you're saying lalito in Fausto, not lalito, okay? And 1 N in profani. E non profani lalito in Fausto degli infamiretti. Okay, I'm just gonna go really fast through all of this stuff. You missed the double T on lintata, but you got all the other ones. I love the phrasal doubling on I cariamanti. I love that. So keep that in. Phrasal doubling can be used really well. All right, the next comment, you did it 3 times, and I'm going to tell you each word that you did it on. Sometimes as in Native American, you know, like English speakers, Native English speakers, in Italian, when there is an unaccented a vowel, we tend to make it an or some other thing other than a, okay? So you have to be careful that you say della sorte, quella, wherever that happens. I didn't write it down. And barbara, 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 all a vowels. Just be careful about those unaccented a vowels, that they're all a and not some Americanized version of that. I just wrote such fabulous high notes. You really rock that part of your voice. Really, really nicely done. Just fantastic. Okay, I talked about that. And you know, as soon as you hit the top of the staff, Katherine, your voice just comes alive. It's fantastic from there up. There's nothing wrong with the rest of your voice. Your voice is gorgeous, but I feel like I just get this amazing intensity when you get to the top of the staff and go up. So just, that's fantastic. So keep working with that. You might want to think about, a lot of people don't agree with this, but sometimes you can ornament in Mozart a little bit. So you can do fare che cangi or something like that if you want there. That's a good place to do one. My score has a whole bunch of fermatas. Then you can maybe think about doing some other things. A lot of people don't really necessarily care for that, but I don't necessarily dislike it. You have one wrong rhythm, and you're going to kill me because it's really in a hard place where you go da 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 trail bam bam. That is the rhythm. Make sure you look at your score. That is your rhythm. You have really good low notes in general. Your final R's need a little more presence, and the tempo on that last section was kick-ass. So good for you. I think after you do the last non vira and da John cor, get the hell off that note and breathe. Okay, non vira and da John cor, no. So you have more breath. You did it. You made it. But I felt like it could have been a little bit more intense to driving through to the end. And you just get off that note. It's a whole note. Make it a half note. Nobody cares. But we do care if you don't have enough breath to do the next phrase. Other than that, I know that's a lot of picky crap. You did a fantastic job. Really, it was a fantastic job. I'm just a very picky coach. But brava, very good. Excellent playing once again. It's also another piece I hate playing. I had to play it. I had to record it the other day and it gave me agita.
Thank you again, Lisa. Okay, we can all unmute. And first, I have to tell you this. I agree with everybody. This is one aria. This is a role for you, and you could tell that you take this to the next level. I think that this is a role for you, without a doubt in my mind. I would cast you like in this in a split millisecond. It came alive. The performance came alive. I was so happy that you did this. I know we tortured you today.
Especially me.
I think that this is a role that you will be doing forever. So, congratulations. Now I offer this to everyone. If you have, now that you're part of Masterclass family, if you have any questions, if you have any problems, if you need to reach out to us, if we can do something for you, hesitate not. Okay. We will be happy to help you in any way that we can. If you're up here, if you're up in the Northeast and you need places to stay or you need connections, call. If you're auditioning for something and you need to stay or you need us to get in touch with somebody or whatever, we're here for you. We wish you all the best. I am extremely impressed and congratulations. And John, thank you again, Maestro.
Yeah,
it's always a
wonderful
pleasure.
playing.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
really.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Bravi tutti.